Sunday, baby. And my gosh, do we have one heck of a series to start off, and its storylines across the board. The return of Mikwen to competitive Halo. SSG fighting for third place, trying to get back to that grand finals, having a journey right here in top 4. Doesn't end here. It's absolutely crazy. SSG versus Native White.
One team we expected to be here, one team we did not expect to be here. Native White made such a run all the way through the open bracket, all the way through pool play, and here they are in the elimination semifinals. What a story. This squad has to be one of the first that I can recall, or maybe in all of Halo's history, from 3 different countries. We got Australia, Mexico, and America all represented here on Native White. And what a roster do they have. All doubts against them have been crushed. This squad is on fire.
Although Native White might have lost to SSG early on in this tournament, they also lost to G1.
They lost.
And then they came back and beat out G1 to make it in the top 4 to begin with, and now they're looking to do the same, looking to get their revenge against Space Station Gaming, and of course going to start on Empyrean, that Pit remake. Walsh, I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, I obviously love seeing myself some Pit, but one thing that's interesting about this layout is both Game 1 and Game 5 were played when these two teams met up before. Space Station ended up taking both of those games against Native White. In fact, 3-0ing them in this series. But I've always heard the phrase, you're either teaching or you're learning. And so right there during that last series, Native White learned a lot. You know they went back to the drawing boards. You know they watched the film. You know they studied and tried to figure out what they do wrong on Empyrean CTF, what they do wrong on Aquarius Slayer. What can they swap up and change? And so they are gonna come in with the advantage of the element of surprise. Right now, Space Station is just gonna say, do what we did before. They won 4-0 on Empyrean CTF. They're not gonna swap anything up.
What's crazy to me is not only are SSG undefeated on Empyrean CTF, not a single team has capped a single flag against them. And forget winning the game, you can't even cap a flag against them. That objective efficiency too tough, and that objective defense even tougher. Native White have a mountain to climb here.
Yeah, and keep your eyes out for Bound here on Empyrean CTF. He has the highest KD ratio here for the Space Station roster, and he has just been absolutely slaying everybody. So we're kicking it off here though, Tony. Take it away.
Going to the pit for game number 1. This brings me back to the MLG there. So, in the wise words of Farouk, let's lock it up!
I love the homage to our old OGs. And it doesn't get much more OG than Halo 3 pit style map here in the form of Empyrean. We got snipers, we got rockets, we got overshield, we got everything you could want. And now we're gonna see who gets the better start. If we get an opportunity, I wanna kick it off with Bound. This person has the highest KD ratio on Empyrean CTF, and I wanna see what it is. I was gonna assume it's because he's got snipe, but looks like Bound just gets in the action right away, pushing through long haul.
Love that play. You grab hold of that drop wall, drop it immediately, and apply pressure to the rockets. Sadly, those rockets hit right back, tapping buttons. Taps Bound right to the black screen, but SSG going 3 down. Native White looking different in game number 1. They're already in SSG's face.
I like this pressure here from Native White, not holding back, and what a smart grab. However, the team needs to get the slays. If Native White go down here, this flag's gonna be dead in the water, but 2 down, and flag's already halfway across the map. This is such a huge opportunity here for Native White.
Native White's offense looking good, and they're about to do what no other team has done before and cap the first flag against SSG on Empyrean. It's been done.
100% efficacy on flag grabs and caps. When you look at the kills across the board, Space Station has 5 kills, and Native White has 6 kills. Doesn't get much more efficient than that, Tony.
I got the chance to talk to Coach Trey Try in the back, and he said that one thing about this Native White squad is that they're resilient. They fear nobody. They know that they can beat anybody in the league, and so far they already got top 4, and they're 1 game away from making it into that elimination grand finals, into 1 game away from making it to the grand finals.
Yeah, they've just had so many close series. You know, that game 5 against G1, but just as quick as their lead was taken. It is now gone. Right there, Eco and the Space Station Gaming Squad answering back with a cap of their own. This one's a fast one, Tony. We're used to seeing this as such a low-scoring game, but within the first minute and a half, we have 2 caps on the board.
Big bounce back coming from SSG. Eco currently 5-1 at the moment on a killing spree, doing everything can to stay alive. You also see 2 members of SSG already pushing up over toward the training side. Native White are in trouble. They're half down.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, was it just a good or lucky start? Because there's 2 down and the pressure is not stopping. Eco just standing up on the plat, doing as much damage as possible. No worry about the snipe just yet. That's not coming up for quite a little bit, and they must have control on the Native White side as they're just forcing them to go through runway.
Eco had a very important responsibility, block that line of sight while that flag moved forward, and nobody able to touch Pznguin while it makes it out, but somebody sneaks through. They pull the flag, we have a bit of a standoff, and Pznguin ends up going down.
Tapping buttons gets the kill, trying to get the recap. Quickly run around the corner, but a grenade takes him out, and it's just slay after slay. Barcode coming in with the rockets and trying to be the hero. Look at everyone who goes near that flag pit, just falling, kill after kill. We got Pznguin going for the recov. And that's gonna be flag return from both sides. So throughout that tumultuous series, it seemed like Native White were able to just get the crucial kills they needed, get that flag cap recovery, and keep it to a tied game.
Barcode making priceless plays with those rockets. The recov comes in, we're still tied up at 1 apiece. StelluR gonna immediately take the sniper over toward the tower side. All members up, so this next kill gonna be so important. You can't be the first team to go down in numbers.
Look at that, just slowing down quite a bit from what we've seen in these first few minutes, playing a little bit of defense, trying to make Native White make the first push, and then from there, potentially pushing on out. But right now, with these teams being so closely matched, they're just sitting back for a moment's time before making the move. Now that there's 2 kills on the board, I wouldn't be surprised to see Space Station make this move. However, if they have not killed the sniper just yet, which I believe is Gilkey, there might be a little more cautious. So it seems like Space Station's strategy is maybe deal with the sniper and then make a move on the flag.
With kills starting to immediately go towards SSG and Native White 3 down, I want to know how they respond. So why don't we jump into a listening? We need to find out how they're going to stop this flag.
Trying to get one shot. Nice, guys. Good shit.
Take our time. They're gonna relay it.
Yeah,
Take our time.
yeah.
He's weak on it.
Yeah.
Already relaying
Flag
it.
guys have.
Yeah, hit flag guy.
Green killed me, bound.
He's weak at green. He's one shot at green as well. He's one shot at white as well. Yeah, hit that. Yeah, hit that. Dude,
Still on our flag, guys. 25 rockets OS. 25.
On the touch.
Yeah.
Just give it up.
I'm all one shot.
Gotta kill this guy.
Yeah.
He's got neither on me.
Yeah.
He got me. He's one shot at
Yeah,
first.
hit that. He's on MLR still.
I got him.
Good shit, good shit.
I'm being sword, I think.
We have people.
Here, sword.
No,
Yeah, he's one shot. Dead.
Chris, it's your OS. You just
One shot in sword with heat wave.
He's absolutely in the. Yep, inside.
In the room.
I got rockets, guys.
I'm on us, guys.
He's one shot, please. One rocket
Nice.
down green, guys.
Got
We
it.
got sniper rockets. One rocket left in green, okay? We have a repulsor.
He's in their hitbox. One shot.
Nice.
On bridge, maybe?
Yeah, here on bridge.
Those that might be playing for you.
Yeah,
It doesn't do
yeah.
damage. Take your time.
I think this is
Yeah, there's green long running out. He's one shot. StelluR, one shot.
Under green, slapping goes.
Yep.
This guy on me, sword. Yeah, he's killed me. He's on sword flanking you. Ozbay. Oh, nice try, dude. Nice try. All good.
They're gonna push through bridge. They
Nice. Kill on. Two
like to push through bridge.
Love the energy, the passion, the communication coming out of Native White at the moment, but it is not translating into the scoreboard. You're still down 1-2 against one of the most objective, efficient teams that we have in the league.
Well, when we went to that listen-in, Native White were clearly on the defensive. They were just desperately trying to stop that first flag cap and then trying to get some semblance of control. But as we heard those callouts and as we saw pushes across the map, they never really made it past the 50-yard line. At one point, they made it slightly past Sword, but that was just to check the other side of Sword. There really wasn't much advancing past their half of the map. Just consistently Space Station keeping some semblance of control on the Native White gaming base.
And with Native White going 3 down, the spawns are being predicted over toward the courtyard side. Space Station Gaming ready for it, and Eco running it toward the opposite side of the map. Hasn't been touched just yet as he makes it into the Needles Hall. If he gets to the long haul, this might be it, because Native White don't have the numbers. We might just see a 3-1 here.
Yeah, not looking like there's going to be any sneak attacks here from Native White this time. That's going to be a third flag cap going in uncontested. Once got back to the other half of the map, StelluR just wrecking faces over on the sword side of the map. And this is such a difficult scenario to deal with. These players are so good at hitting no-scopes at every distance, and so even if you are to get close to that sniper in the form of StelluR, he's likely just gonna hit that body shot and take you out.
SSG looking comfortable here in the elimination bracket. They love that pressure on them. This is where they make their runs. This is where they make their names, and you know they play better on land. Finally, Native White starting to get the kill they're looking for. Gilkey now with the sniper rifle looks to make a play on StelluR. There's a trade out there, but Gilkey still has the snipe. 2 members in front of him. He's gonna have to hit one of these shots.
Yeah, just keep an eye out. Bound, trying to slide on through the sword is not gonna happen. This is a great opportunity coming up here in a moment for Native. They're gonna grab this OS. Did not get stopped, and that's gonna be a no-scope on StelluR. Double kill for Gilkey on the Bound, and the push is starting here for Native White. They can get a second cap here shortly.
I don't know if it's a heat wave, a microwave, but let this man cook! An overkill! Now gonna go for the kill tech, almost able to get it. StelluR shuts him down, but Gilkey absolutely going off.
That weapon, a double-edged sword. Sometimes you're getting overkills, and sometimes you might shoot your eye out as that heat wave banks back on the flag. Huge, huge plays for Native White, but you have to wonder if they're getting an overkill and they're not even getting over to the opposite half of the map and getting a flagpole. What do they have in store for the rest of this game, Tony?
It's gonna be tough, but there's still 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, and Gilkey, I believe, Pznguin, the icy double kill. The Needler, I know you know about that a little bit. Gonna go for the challenge on Mikwen, forcing him to back down. Bound with the bait and switch here. SSG starting to pinch Native White into a corner, and the flag is already being pulled again.
Yeah, just constant pressure here. It's so impressive seeing this from the Space Station side, because there's a lot of times where they're arguably even in numbers, or just even slightly behind, but they somehow are always across the map, or it doesn't feel like Native White are able to take over the Space Station side of the map. And I'd love to hear their strategy and how they do that at some point, whether it's they know when to push out of their base or when they know to hunker down, but it's just brilliant just this entire time. Even something like StelluR just ringing around the rosy at bottom snipe tower, staying alive.
Gilkey does end up going down, but he does play the sniper rifle off of the map. That could be huge for them, but Pznguin coming in with the pink miss.
Respect.
Flag being pulled onto the plat, tapping buttons, getting a critical kill onto StelluR. Eco wants to get into position, but right now, SSG needs to focus on slaying, and Native White are focused on clearing out their base.
Pay attention once again. This is a time where Space Station are down in numbers, but somehow are on the offensive and keeping so many members of Native White back at their base, hunting them out. So during that time where Eco was staying alive, look at how far across the map StelluR is. Look at where Bound has charged over to. That was a time when it was a 2-on-3 in the Native White base. It just bought so much time for their teammates. So super impressive here from the Space Station Gaming squad.
And now Native White, knowing that their base is safe at the moment, you're seeing them start to get aggressive toward the long haul, but that aggression doesn't always pay off. Barcode ends up going down, takes down Eco with him. Pznguin still has that sniper rifle, so Native White have to be real careful. The moment they go 2 down, SSG will start to aggress forward. The spawners are now coming in. Pznguin pushing over toward the tower side. Native White pull.
Great reposition there from Pznguin, realizing that as long as he's alive, top tower sniper, that flag is not going to be able to move comfortably. They have to deal with Pznguin before they can really move this. Otherwise, body shot like that's going to happen to Barcode, and that flag cap opportunity is going to be shot down.
Shot through the heart, and they were too late. 3-1 lead in favor of SSG, and now time really becoming a factor here. A minute on the clock. Native White, they need to throw caution to the wind. They need to start pushing up. They need to start getting these off pulls. It looks like Penguin's aware of it. He's just guarding this flag, and now to the point where he's sitting in the corner like a Call of Duty player.
Yeah, Penguin was hoping not to be here, not to have pressure on the flag at this point, but there's 2 down for Space Station. Bound and StelluR, the last 2 defenders. That's gonna be StelluR going down. Bound gonna successfully get another kill. And so, time and time again, you see a nice advantage there from Native White, but they're not able to translate that into a capture. I feel like these members of Space Station are just a bit too squirrely. They just know how to break out their bad spawns and get into stronger positions. Whereas when Space Station have control, they're forcing spawns over in courtyard or towards the corner and making it so they have predictable routes from the defenders.
16 seconds left, and it's about mathematically impossible for Native White to win it here. We talked about it going into this matchup. Not a single team has been able to cap a flag on SSG. Native White do once, but Space Station gave the answer right back. The objective efficiency too much, and they're gonna go up 1-0 in the series.
Impressive start, but it's all about how you finish. Space Station answering the very first capture that Native White got with 3 captures of their own. The first time they matched up on this earlier in this weekend, Space Station won 4-0 on Period Flag. 3-1 is a much closer scoreline, but end of the day, a win is a win.
Trey Tri said, this team is used to playing on their back foot, and right now 0-1 in the series and a so important game number 2 ahead of us. Native White are gonna have to answer right here, right now. Treat this game 2 as if it's a game 5. Do not allow SSG any more momentum than they have right now.
Yeah, it is tough. One also interesting stat is I believe Space Station are just the game 1 kings right now. 6-0 in their game 1 series across all of Charlotte. So I need to double check that stat with our crew back there, but when I heard that one originally, I was like, I believe it. I can't think of a single game 1 that they've lost so far this weekend.
It is a fact. Shout out to Easy Mac for sending us those stats. Man, let me tell you, that's crazy. Undefeated in game 1. SSG looking to go undefeated in grand finals though against season 1, never dropping out of that second place spot. Native White though, the story of the tournament, I told you, there's plenty of storylines here. I believe in Native White. I believe they could take game 2.
I mean, just must be something with the Native Gaming org. I mean, we saw that Cinderella run at Worlds with Native Red. We're now seeing this impressive run with Native White. This run isn't even done yet, but just goes to show that something with this org and these players just makes some magic.
Talk to me a little bit about Mikwen. Coming back, he wasn't allowed to compete all through season 1. He wanted to. Let me tell you, man, I interviewed him a little while ago, and he guaranteed me he could put a top 4 team together, and here we are, top 4 looking to go even further. Talk to me about Mikwen and what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I would say Mikwen's in a very interesting position. So for those that don't know, Mikwen worked on the game early on, and because of that, was not allowed to compete in the first season of Halo Infinite due to any unfair competitive advantage. So he had to take this whole year off, and I feel like that's actually a huge detriment, because if you consider not being able to play with the best of the best players, not being able to scrim, not being able to get those hardcore games and tournaments under your belt in season 1, you're coming from a back foot. You're coming from a significant disadvantage despite what you may have gained early on. But Mikwen, I think, has this interesting balance now of, going back from competitive, going back to, kind of real world, like other jobs, and then saying like, you know what, I'm a competitive gamer at heart. I need to go back and do this. So I feel like he's got that drive. He understands what it takes to be at the top. He's been at the top many a times, and he's got this amazing squad to be able to do it. Kind of hand-picking all these top individual talents that weren't on these other top rosters. Like I said, 3 different countries on this roster. Tapping Buttons from Mexico, Barcode from Australia, and then Gilkey and Mikwen here from the United States. And they've just found such a magical roster. They've been doing so well. So yeah, I think Mikwen, like I said, a few more years of life experience under his belt, understanding what it needs to do to be at the very top here in Halo, and it's already showing the very first event back.
We flashed some stats on the screen, and we talked about the matchup, and one play I noticed on there was Tapping Buns, 4,600 damage. Every single Slayer he plays, that is absolutely incredible. He's gonna be your main damage dealer. Mikwen coming back, and don't forget about a little bit of Gilkey and Barcode too.
I didn't forget about
Native White answer here on the streets.
And there's everything you want on the streets. I mean, on the black market on the streets, you can get a stock rifle, you can get a bulldog, you can get strong sides left kidney. You can buy pretty much anything you want over here in Mombasa.
Eco starting off immediately, going towards the tire side of the map. Thought we were gonna see a toss of the rockets there, but it looks like a couple of grenades go out. They try to take over that B side of the map, and Eco clears it out beautifully, but that stalker rifle in the hands of Native White. As I say, that Native White go 3 down. SSG take early advantage here.
And look at this early push on Tram. Once again, trying to stagger those spawns. You'll notice how every single time these players on Space Station will get a kill or two, as long as they have the shields to warrant the push, they're gonna push and continually try to kill those remaining players, especially when they know where they're at. They just want to make sure that they continue this 4-on-2 advantage. And this is actually really difficult here for Native White. They gave up a little too much ground here at the tower, and they're kind of pinned this position. Bound trading out kills with Barcode, but Eco still has the pin over at PD, and that's gonna be Gilkey trying to fight out for his life, but once again, staggered spawns. Look at these members just charging over towards every weak member of Native White.
Oftentimes we talk about the numbers advantage, putting your opponent 2-3 down and keeping that pressure on, but it also starts from that shield advantage you talked about before, hitting those shots, making your opponent weak, force them to back down and not watch that alley so that you can then push up. And SSG, one of the best at it. Look at that scoreboard, it ain't getting any prettier.
Also, look at this rinse and repeat format. It's pretty obvious after Space Station clear out Tram, their first point of focus is taking over this tower. They realize once they have this tower, they have the second crucial angle to take out any players near PD or tires in that area. Also, if you're by yourself over at tower, you have so many escape routes. It generally needs 2 players to clear out a tower. Otherwise, you're kind of flipping a coin and which way you're running out and escaping.
SSG have now 4x Native White scoreline. At this point, everybody on SSG is outslaying Native White seemingly by themselves. 5-1 out of StelluR, 5 assists to go along with it. 5-1 out of Pznguin. Eco hasn't even died a single time, yet Native White are struggling here on the streets of New Mombasa.
And that is tough. I mean, they also just have been at a disadvantage pretty much from the get-go after losing those initial fights. They are spawning without more teammates out there. They don't have the weapons. You have the bulldog or stalk rifle in the hands of the members of Space Station. It's really tough to fight with back foot against these top players. I mean, it's tough to fight on even footing with members of Space Station Gaming. Now when you give them an advantage, whole different story.
Tension is building here and time is just running out. Native White need to answer, something needs to change, and time again you find yourself on the black screen. Native White haven't even fought fully loaded. At no point in time have I seen them 4 up except at the start of the game.
And that is not a good sign. This map right here was the closer that we saw Native White take out G1 yesterday in game number 5. But I don't know if we're gonna see this one turn. Something needs to happen fast. I mean, they are down by 13 kills, double the score at the moment. They need to go on a spawn trap and slay of their own, but every single time these members of Space Station at least they'll take out 1 or 2 and disallow that full setup.
But the first one to get a kill for Native White. Maybe they can play through that. Pznguin ends up going down as well. So finally that damage being put in by Native White, and they're gonna play through it. 3 down for SSG. This is Native White's first opportunity of putting the pedal to the metal, actually setting the pace here in the game.
And look at this, Eco just gonna buy that little extra time, trying to stay alive. And during that time, you're gonna notice him try to ideally spawn with the rest of his teammates and then make a push out, but I feel like that might just be the little difference here is even with these members of Space Station, if they're going down, they're making Native White really traverse the map, travel around corners, get those kills, and that's gonna be those seconds that add up over time and disallow the staggering of spawns that we've been seeing has been so successful from Space Station.
Normally we see Eco being that big brain player, the play caller, sitting behind his teammates and allowing them to be that 3-headed monster. But as of right now, 8-4, 5 assists, a 1.41 KD. Eco is taking over.
One thing that was really interesting there about that rocket pickup as well from Space Station is Pznguin was right next to the rockets. He had 1-shot damage in him. And instead, he just stood there watching the stairs and watching Tram to make sure nobody jumped out to contest the rockets and let Eco come from behind and grab those rockets. Just those slight differences from these top pros, which don't allow for any room for error. There's no window of opportunity where Mikwen could have popped out and picked off Pznguin as he was picking up those rockets. It was just perfectly executed power weapon secured.
Had a little jump scare moment right there. Those nades came out of nowhere. Bound got obliterated over toward the arcade side. But it's SSG that aren't playing any games at the moment, moving into the end game right here, right now. Pznguin coming in with the Bulldog, and now the 2v1 versus Yoki. Yoki goes down. 40 kills have been accomplished, make it 41. This is bad for Native White. They might be falling 0-2.
And look at this, even without seeing players at the cafe just yet, Space Station had so much presence across the map. They had Tram, they had PD/B side, and they just knew they had spawn over at Neon/Cafe, and they are just start pinging it, just saying, everyone look this way, someone's gonna be making a move sooner or later.
44-25 in favor of SSG. Now just 6 kills away from taking game number 2 and being 1 game away from sending Native White home. We talked about this team being destined to make yet another grand finals, and they're looking in grand final shape right now. Bulldog into the BR for Pznguin as he makes his way back over toward the mid side, trades out that Bulldog for rockets. Pznguin doesn't end up going down, but Bound picks those rockets right back up.
Rockets picked up, but even if Native can grab that last rocket, there's not a whole lot we fear that they can do here. That's gonna be Pznguin going down, Eco going down, StelluR going down, Bound the only one alive. Now, Native need to go for some form of spawn trap. They can't just try to get a perfect setup and just try to trade out kill after kill in a neutral game. So I'd love to see them get another kill here soon and then push in.
Native White will not go down without a fight. Mikwen with the rockets is another kill in favor of Native White. Tapping buttons follows up, but StelluR and Bound back-to-back kills. Now you're just looking for one more here for SSG. 36 bullets of pure pain from the assault rifle. 2-0 here for SSG. Man, do they look comfortable.
Not a stake-tacular with it being 50-33, but regardless, a strong statement of performance. Anytime you can win somewhere 50 and 40 below, your team was clearly in the lead that game, just performing so well.
So the boys get up, take a break, talk a little bit of strategy, and get a little bit of a breather right now. It's a really tough matchup regardless. We're talking about top 4. Where if this makes into the top 3, then you're 1 series away from making it to the grand final, so you can feel the pressure and the tension in the arena. I feel a lot of way from out here.
I know. I saw you jumping.
I was in the game.
You were right in the match.
I'd be strafing in real life too. I don't gotta be playing.
But game number 3 is going to be Strongholds on live fire. The way this is going thus far, I mean, it's hard not to predict that Space Station is going to clear this 1-3-0. However, when we look at the Strongholds matchups so far throughout this tournament, both teams are 1-0 on live fire Strongholds. Space Station 1-0 when they beat Divine Mind, and Native White are 1-0 when they beat Luminosity, 250-217. So, like I said, neither team's been beaten here in Charlotte just yet, but when I look at that scoreline of a 250-52, and I notice how these squads have been playing thus far, it's hard not to predict anything but a 3-0 from Space Station here as they work their way towards the elimination finals.
Yeah, if I'm a fan of Native White, I'm really upset seeing Strongholds that game number 3, them fighting for the tournament life, because I would say SSG and FaZe are the 2 best Strongholds teams that we have in the league right now. So, to try to play them on their bread and butter when you're 1 loss away from being sent home, it's really tough.
It is tough, but I mean, if anyone's been able to do it with their backs against the wall, it has been this Native White roster all tournament long. No room for error, really, as they're going through the open bracket. So many teams in a brutal pool play, fighting squads like G1, and somehow taking them out last night.
Did I see my man Blackout with an SSG tattoo? I'm pretty sure on his right arm he had an SSG tattoo. SSG for life, apparently. My gosh. And I mean, rightfully so. I mean, they're a great team, great organization, and right now up 2-0, 1 win away from making it into the top 3.
And yeah, at this point, if they just continue how they're going, it's going to be that. Now, for me, it's going to be curious if they're able to advance here. Who do they prefer to play? Do they want to try to play FaZe and get some revenge and kick them while they're down? Or do they want that full-on grand finals match against FaZe? Either way, there is no easy matchup coming here. FaZe, Optic, Space Station, Native White, the best of the best are still in this event.
And now you talked about SSG, looking forward into that elimination finals. Is that what I mean? You're up 2-0 in a series like this. I mean, granted, Native White, they're a hungry roster, but do you kind of in the back of your mind kind of look past, or do you no, we got to finish the job. We still have one more win to go. You're in the moment here.
Absolutely, you cannot look too far forward. Made those mistakes before, just said, all right, we got to worry about this next match, not this very first one. And that's where it comes to bite you, where you start to get preconceived notions of how badly you need to win or what the scoreline needs to be. You need to focus on each game, each moment. These players are here for a reason. So I guarantee Space Station aren't overlooking past Native White, but they realize they're in a very strong position. Native White aren't playing as strong as they were last night. You see all these players from Space Station win their one-on-ones or just out-maneuvering and just fighting consistent 2v1s.
We saw a little bit on the screen right there. You saw Pznguin being that highest damage dealer. Whoa.
I can't tell if that was a big fan or disrespect.
That looked like some disrespect right there. Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Native White fans are absolutely outnumbered.
That's supposed to be one stressful household. You got one Native White fan, one SSG fan. Oh my gosh. Either way, SSG versus Native White. We saw on the screen. We talked about Pznguin, and how he's been forming into this slayer. He's always that objective, efficient guy. Always in the advanced analytics showed that he's one of the best capture the flag players in the game. But then we saw highest damage dealer, highest KD. Pznguin is really starting to step into his own. Again, not as an objective player, but as a pure slayer as well. And I'm loving every moment of it.
Yeah, we definitely see those moments from him, but we don't see it as consistent as we see from the top slayer when we have on the Space Station roster, whether it's in the form of Bound or in the form of Renegade last season. But he has those moments where he'll happily put up 18 kills or 20 kills in a slayer from time to time and help carry his team to victory. But I think the part that's most impressive about Pznguin is just his consistent presence on the map. We talked about before where in that Streets game where he was right next to Rockets, he could have grabbed those right away. Instead, he realized he had a shot on him. Instead, sets up Eco to perfectly grab those Rockets. Zero chance for that to go awry as Pznguin was watching any angle the last member of Native White could attack from and set Eco to grab the perfect set of Rockets. So that's the time where you start to look at the math, you're like, wait, Pznguin could have just grabbed those Rockets, got 2 free kills and done X, Y, or Z. But instead, he's just focused on the team as a whole. He doesn't care if he gets the kill, as long as one of his teammates gets the kills.
And on the other side of that, I want to talk about also a little bit about Native White. You're seeing on screen. I want to talk about Gilkey and what he provides to this team with that 1.3 KD as well. Oh, gosh. I'm a big fan of Gilkey. Coach Callis says that he's the best back player in the game. And when you have 2 heavy damage dealers like Barcode and tapping bunch being your forward place of facing players, getting in there, doing the damage, Gilkey just sits behind them, is pick, just knocking them down with that incredible accuracy. I like the way Native White are formed. I think they're a recipe for success.
Also, just look at the stats. Another tale is told, where you look at StelluR with 13.8 kills per game compared to Gilkey's 16. But to me, this just says that Space Station are closing out the games a little earlier. They're holding their steps a little bit longer. Whereas when Gilkey has 7.7 captures per game compared to StelluR's 4.8, that sounds like a heck of a lot more chaotic there on Native White's end as they're trading strongholds back and forth, fighting around the map. Maybe don't have as structured or slowed down of a setup.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, we saw on Imperium capture the flag that no team was able to cap a flag on their defense, and I'm sure that translates into other game types like Strongholds, like King of the Hill. When they get into the defensive stance and playing through that double cap or even the triple cap, they don't lose it. You're struggling to find that kill on the perimeter player for you to open things up and take down SSG, because SSG don't lose gunfights. They don't lose pivotal battles, and that's why one of the reasons why the defense is so strong is that offense that kind of carries it.
Yeah, it's like a lingering offense as part of their defense. They always seem to have this member who's still just hiding out, buying some time. Even one of the times where we saw 3 members dead from SSG, you saw Pznguin alive and trammed with a stock rifle, just crouched in the corner, eventually picking off Mikwen. They're just so much more aware of the numbers game on the map and know when they need to be backing down and hiding, where I feel like if I had to assume on the call-outs there for Native White, they're just calling out where someone's one shot, and then before they know it, they're saying, oh, wait, 2 or 3 of us down, and the last person's already exposed, already give away their position, and shortly taken down thereafter.
So on extremely fast game type like Strongholds, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. If you're on the native white roster, you're on the native white coach, and who's the one player that's gonna be your X Factor that you expect to be that standout player that's gonna be able to open up the map here on Live Fire?
I mean, I saw some impressive kills on Live Fire StelluR from tapping buttons, but I'm gonna have to go with our other foreign friend here, Barcode. Barcode can be that X Factor. I saw him charging with absolutely zero respect for some of his opponents, just challenging fights and winning them. And if anything, he's got to do it now. No room for error. 1 game away for Native White's tournament life. We're kicking it off here with Barcode in game number 3, Live Fire Strongholds.
This might just be the final time you see Native White here in this tournament. SSG looking to get back into yet another grand finals. Native White just trying to show us how resilient they could be.
And while he made a great push towards Nest, Sniper in the hands of StelluR, and look at this reposition. Gonna gather with his teammate over towards Sandbags, try to get an angle here. But this is looking good for Native White at the start. This is a tough stronghold to take. Right now, Space Station cannot charge towards B. They're trying to make the pivot over towards C, but the rotation is being read. Tapping Buns gets double kill. No scope from StelluR to answer that back, and this Overshield battle has just begun. Looks like Gilkey and Mikwen are fighting over it, and that's gonna be Overshield and Sniper and Heatwave, all near Mr. Mikwen.
Space Station Gaming had first sight on that Overshield, but Tapping Buttons gets a huge double kill, and they even take down the Sniper player as well. Grab a hold of Overshield, but you can't get back smacked like that.
That was devastating to lose that Sniper. I mean, you saw all those grenades buying time and stopping on pillars. You almost have to wonder if Mikwen's Spidey sense needs to go off in that situation. He's realized, like, wait, how do they know I'm coming through tunnel at this exact spot? Do they have eyes on me somewhere? Because that was either eyes from Pznguin calling it out, or just a read from rotating over from Keydor.
Pznguin bound back-to-back kills. Eco able to get away with that sniper rifle. We're starting to see Native White prioritize the B side of the map. The problem is that SSG have the right in their sight. They push them out, get the kills necessary, steal away the Bravo side. A momentary trip cap for Space Station Gaming, still holding on to 2.
Yeah, and Eco wisely worrying more about C-Plat rather than B, because at any moment, if he knows pressure's coming over towards B, he can push over towards Nest. But then secondly, gets to help set up for this new Overshield, which it just felt like happened moments ago. Mikwen had that so shortly ago.
So tough for Native White. They try to manage capturing an objective, but also this Overshield is coming right up, and they're able to take away A, so they have an A-B setup as Native White, but they sacrifice the Overshield to get it, and mind you, SSG already had the sniper rifle.
Yeah, looks like Native White, we're going for short-term gains, instead of going for that Overshield and a stronger setup, and now they're gonna feel the punishment for this. StelluR pushing with OS, there's no way Tapping Buttons gonna get any kill there, but the problem is he didn't get any damage. You saw Tapping Buttons probably getting ready to tap his left trigger and go for a grenade, but at some point when that OS is a factor on the map, you need to do it as a team effort. Shoot that player, take it down, otherwise your teammate's gonna have to deal with the repercussions.
Multiple members of Native White are trying to control the A side. It's going to be a big kill by Tapping Buttons to stop SSG from stealing A. They don't want to be put in the trip cap. They've come, but sadly they're being sent right back to the black screen. 3 down for Native White. The final player being slammed against the wall. Breakfast is served. That's a pancake.
What a brilliant play with a repulsor and grenade. I don't know if that was just 200 IQ play, just prepping it to go over there, but that was incredible from Eco. C stronghold reverted, so at least that bleed's gonna stop, but now where did Native White go? There's really no clear, easy route to go towards B. A is not an option at the moment since Space Station have top center control. There's just really no good option. And it looks like Native White try to rotate around. Looks like they go through tunnels and get towards A, but ultimately you traded A for C. Is that big of a difference? Ultimately, you need to somehow get towards top center or sneak someone towards B. And Pznguin in such an aggressive position right there. Can't believe that, but must be because Bound has already put that trip cap hurt over on A.
There it is, another capture coming in to be A. Like you said, another swap where Native White are forced to rotate across the map, and SSG out-rotating them, outplaying them, outslaying them as Pznguin goes in for 2. Repulsing the final grenade that should have taken him down. StelluR steals an Overshield. Nothing going right here for Native White.
Another Overshield here coming out for SSG. So SSG staying on top of these power-ups, and they will happily just go back and forth trading A and C with them all day. And when they get the extra slays, they get a trip cap. There goes tapping buttons down, and this is looking dire here for Native White. They need to do something, and they need to do it quick.
It's sad to see. I mean, the story was amazing. Native White fought their way throughout the open bracket, and man, was it a gauntlet. One of the toughest open brackets that we've seen and they got that one of 4 spots to make it into pool play, and had an incredible run to make it to the top 4. But sadly, they have run into SSG, and SSG are simply on another level. And from what I've heard, there's levels to this.
And SSG are just looking very scary here for Championship Sunday. Now, we might see an opportunity here where Native White are able to cap B. In fact, they're going for a trip cap. I don't disagree with putting the sectional pressure on the map, but just as quick as those caps were taken, look at them being reverted. A capture going for Space Station, B capture going for Space Station, double kill for Bound and Eco. Doing so much damage across the map. Just so many kills going in favor of Space Station, and I just don't see it stopping. We haven't seen any points throughout this where Native White take control of top center, and they can't because they don't have the weapons, they don't have the overshield, they don't have the firepower to take over top center and control more of the map. They're getting out-rotated because they don't have the center of the map.
Stopping, Dave, we're talking stopping. You can't stop SSG. You can only hope to contain them. Slow them down. You ain't gonna stop them, because look at that scoreboard. It's a 235-40 lead in favor of SSG. They're 15 seconds away from coming out on top, and they're not stopping whatsoever.
Yeah, one of the first times we're seeing control of top center here for Native, but they get shut down. We're now seeing A being controlled by Space Station. That's gonna be a double cap in a second, and all they have to do is just prevent these players from running on over towards B, and even though Kill can't OS, the sniper's gonna shred that quickly.
Just like me in a 1v1 against Dave in Halo 3, they didn't stand a chance. SSG making it look easy with the 3-0 sweep. Native White going home.
That is tough. I would say throughout all of Halo Infinite, all the players there on that Native White roster have yet to win a game against SSG, or at least this foursome when they played under the Cloud9 banner. Obviously, Gilkey getting taken down multiple times under that G2 roster. Barcode when he was on the Chiefs, and when he was ultimately moving on over towards the G2 roster.
We said it time and time again, SSG, one of the favorites to make it into the grand finals, and now they're gonna be one series away from doing just that. Still gotta go through a winners finals to find out who's gonna be their opponents, but if you're SSG, I mean, it legitimately looks easy.
They look really good, and now is where they get to focus on the future. Now they can decide, all right, do we sit and watch this next match, or do we sit and talk about the next maps we're going to be going through in the elimination final? Do we sit and warm up during some free-for-alls? Each player is different. Some people like to chill back for a little bit, watch some gameplay, see if they can notice some tendencies. Other players just like to sit in some FFA lobbies and keep their shot warm.
Now, if I'm Native White, I feel like I have nothing to hang my head low about. Like, obviously that series could have done better, but we talked about it. They'll run through the open bracket. The fact that everybody counted them out, even going into pool play, to even make it here to the top 4, when most people's power rankings had them around 16 or 12. You know, the online qualifiers didn't exactly go their way, but what they proved today was with a little bit of practice and being on land, they're dangerous. You do not want to see Native White in pool play, open, you don't want to see them anywhere